Hi there, and welcome to another edition of Ron's Roadside Stories. I'm your host, Ron Lacqua. Man, I always wanted to say that. Check that off the bucket list. Yesterday I was standing outside at the Walmart parking lot there and waiting to get inside like everybody's doing nowadays, and the guy in front of me turns and asks me, he says, hey bud, what would you have if you've got a toonie in one pocket and a loony in the other? My answer was, I'd have on somebody else's britches, bud. I don't usually have any money on me. When you're married, you don't carry money. You ask for it. No, all joking aside, for those that are not aware, or for those that have been in isolation, complete lockdown for a month, today is Saturday. It is the day after Friday, the day before Sunday. It's sort of middle of the weekend. I know it's been a long time for the people that have been in lockdown, isolation, not able to work or whatever, so I hope I can help you with that. Nowadays everybody's just getting all confused from one day to the next there. That's late. No, it's all right, ma'am. I gotta really stay at home and do these things because people walk by and I'm sure they think I'm crazy. I have to explain myself before I get arrested or something. But anyway, back to the story. Okay, so I promised you I'd give you a good one. Again, this is something going back a long time. Well, I have two kids, two boys. One's 17 now, one's 14, Colby and Ethan. And this one here involved Ethan. He was Colby, sorry. This one, he was our firstborn 17 years ago. He was roughly, he would have had to been right around between 6 and 7 months old, because Jen had taken the 6 months off. They didn't have the luxury to take the whole year off back then, but anyway, she took the 6 months off and she had gone back to work, and I was working night shift at that time, and usually coming back home around 7:30, 8 o'clock, and so basically I'd come home and then take over, and then she would head to work, and then for myself to be able to get some sleep during the day, I would bring Colby over to the grandparents. We were fortunate enough not to have to drop them off at a daycare or anything back then. We had grandparents close by, so that was normal for us to just bring them over and drop them off, and then I would come back home and sleep. So this one day, again, hadn't been much into him being 7 months old, and I get home. Anyway, Jen leaves, gives me the lowdown, what to do and everything, my list of all the responsibilities, because God knows I'm not going to remember anything. So she gives me the list, and anyway, so I get everything ready, and I get out in the car. I, of course, get Colby in his baby seat, get him all buckled in, do my thing, my daddy duties, and get in the car. I back out the driveway. I get halfway down the road, and of course I forget his baby bag, the most important stuff, all the good stuff in there. So I come back to the house, pull in the driveway, get out of the car, and go in the house, get the baby bag, come out of the house, and my car is gone. And obviously Colby was in it. So I'm sure he did not get out of the baby seat and drive on his own, so I checked that off the list. But all joking aside, my heart was pumping. At this point here I am just outside, ready to lock the house door, and there's no car left in the driveway. Let's just say I wasn't as calm as I am right now. We can look back and laugh on it now, but I run out into the driveway and look obviously down towards the roadside. Nothing there. I look down towards my grass, and my lawn is I have about an acre of land, and it leads down into the backwoods behind my house, and sure enough, the car had taken off. So obviously I was sleep deprived, whatever I want to use an excuse, but it's a dumb one. So I had just forgotten to put the car in park and got out too quick, and so without noticing, Colby took off while I went into the house to get the baby bag, and the car literally went down about 150 feet, went through a little small fire pit that we had, stayed straight, and basically just rested up against a tree that I have, a big tree at the back of the property, and it just slightly marked up the driver's side mirror of the car. We had a small little Pontiac Sunfire back then. I run down, and like any good father would do, I made sure the car was okay. No, I was just kidding. Of course, I wanted to make sure Colby was okay. So I opened up. He was still sleeping like a baby. Thank God he had never woke up or anything. So he was there. So I run back around. I get in the car. I back the car up. But honestly, before even then, I'm looking around, seeing if anybody saw me. I mean, I'm things are going through my head. I'm like, oh my God, what the hell did I do? Anyway, fortunate enough, nobody had saw what I did. So of course, I want to just cover what I did up. I get the car, back it up, put it back in park. Colby's still sleeping in the back. I look at the mirror, try to buff off the tree bark off it a little bit, so that was all right. I could probably explain that due to something else. The bark that was removed off the tree, I picked up some dirt, smudged it around on the tree, because knowing Jen, she was pretty sharp. She was going to catch on to something like that too and question me. So I got all that done. I got back in the car and just let myself settle down a little bit. Of course, my heart was pumping through my chest and nerves. I was just shooken right up. I couldn't think straight. But anyway, in a situation like that, I know I was very fortunate and very lucky. And Colby obviously was okay. Nothing other than a small little scratch to the car. I mean, very, very lucky. So I bring him over, drop him off with the grandparents, and I'm debating, do I tell this? I mean, there's no proof of it. The kid's sleeping. Little small mark on the car that maybe she won't even realize, or I'll just blame it on somebody hitting in the parking lot or whatever. So I never tell Jen until about 12 years afterwards, when the kid is all, grown up. And I decided at that point, you know what, I might as well. And let's just say she was not happy. I don't know if she would have been any more mad if I told her back then, but she was pissed. So yes, I was in the doghouse, which I'm every other month I am anyway. But anyway, this one here was a good one. So I don't even know if I got to make it into the bed that night. But anyway, I was on the couch, doghouse type thing. But I said sorry, and I apologized for not coming forward. But I told her, look, I knew you would have killed me back then. So I mean, I took my chances, and they always say honesty is the best policy. But in all fairness, at that point, I was thinking of my own well-being. So, like I said, I promised you something stupid, and it was stupid. Hope you enjoyed. I'm sure Jen's gonna now relive this, and I'll probably be back in the doghouse. So I hope you really enjoyed that story. On a more serious note, though, I want to just give a shout out quickly. My brother and Amanda, his wife, they had a newborn exactly 1 month ago today. Little baby boy by the name of Felix. And when we talk about going through hard times, see, I'm going to try to, this is more, I don't want to get all emotional here, but everybody's making small sacrifices right now. People are out of work. We're not able to do the things we would like to do, to watch the sports, visit with family. But there's people out there making even more small sacrifices, the people on the front lines, as I said earlier. And in Mark and Amanda's case, they've got a nice newborn baby that, other than sharing some pictures and stuff, that's all we can get. And you know what? That's all we should expect. I mean, that baby's got to be our first priority. And when I think, if I ever start feeling sorry for myself or whatever, I look back and say, hey, you know what? There's people much worse off. There's people that are going through other things much worse than myself at this time. So happy 1 month old to little Felix out there. And just remember that going into what we're doing here, going through what we are. If you start feeling down, start feeling sorry for yourself, just remember there's always somebody else either going through the same thing or much worse than you are. So you know what? Get over it. And we'll all get through this together. We all stick together. So again, hopefully you enjoyed that. And that'll be it for this weekend. And we'll see you next Friday for another edition of Ron's Roadside Story. So hope you enjoyed. Take care, guys. Be good.